I am excited about just really pouring into you and bringing you some inspiration and revving you up. And, you know, hypnosis is something I've been doing for 20 years, and it's this incredible gift that you've got right there between your ears that you could be utilizing at any time. And this opportunity to practice self-hypnosis a little bit more is always there. And I think that sometimes people forget that it's a tool that they have, or maybe they haven't just learned enough about it to know that it's one of those viable tools. We hear a lot about meditation, but we don't always hear about self-hypnosis being right up there with meditation. So tonight we're going to do a couple of fun things. I'm going to walk you through a self-hypnosis session that is really focused on just opening up your willingness to live bigger, to take some risks and live bigger in love, life, and business. That's really the title of tonight. And what we're doing is we are segueing. My book, Mind, Body, Fit Life, is upside down, is out, and it's on Amazon. It's also on my website. And in this book, what I love about it is there's a lot of processes. So it's not just, there's a lot of rich, wonderful stories, but there's also a lot of process, because I feel it to be very important to teach people about hypnosis as well as give you coaching prompts. I'm a certified coach. I've been a coach since 2007 and a hypnotist since 1999. And so with coaching prompts, there's so many great opportunities that you can, with your own DIY, to be able to further your progress, really execute on your own peak performance. And yes, I'm available. I work with people one-on-one, but what's even cooler is that you can also do this at home. So I love that the book is written that way. It gives you lots of coaching prompts throughout and some journal opportunities. And if you're not into journaling, which I highly recommend because it's a kinesthetic practice where you can really download from your mind, out of your heart, and into the paper. And there's so many great opportunities to use journaling in ways to get you unstuck. So it's not just about sitting down with your journal and writing about your day, but using it as a coaching prompt. So it can be a really, really just beautiful and effective tool to go along with your self-hypnosis. So I did a lot of that throughout the book so that you would have coaching prompts that you could journal and really experience some breakthroughs. So as we know, a breakthrough is so important in life, right? Because breakthroughs are that it shows the evidence of our growth. When we have that aha moment, when we have that experiential moment where all of our things intersect for us finally, right? Like something psychologically goes, oh my gosh, I just figured that out. Or, oh my gosh, that's why I've been doing that. Having some kind of unconscious association come to fruition, to consciousness. All of these different ways that we grow and our breakthroughs that happen along the way. There's multiple, right? There's so many breakthroughs that happen along the way. And thank goodness, thank goodness we have breakthroughs, because we typically have a vision of where we want to go. And when we put that vision out there, we're going to expect to have to experience, choose to experience breakthroughs along the way to really get there. And when we have the vision, a lot of times we don't know that we can actually pull it off. We don't know that, it might be there, the vision might be there, but we don't know how to do it. So as we really take courage within ourselves and experience it, allow ourselves to find it within that courage, we step out there to execute on the vision, there's going to be breakthrough after breakthrough. And so that's one of the things that I have just really felt so appreciative for in my life, and using hypnosis as a breakthrough tool is absolutely my goal. So thank you so much for being here tonight. Tonight we're talking about willingness. It's chapter 3 in my book. These particular calls, they've been going on since 2010, and I make them available to all of my wonderful members that are in Mind, Body, Fit, as well as to private clients, when I work with groups, I go out and work with different corporations or organizations, and all of those audiences are welcome to join these calls. I took a little break for a while, and so since, let's see, probably about 4 months ago, right before the COVID crisis happened, I started doing them again. And so then I opened them up so that they wouldn't just be private, but public. And so there's some new people here tonight, and I just really want to welcome you, and I appreciate your presence. And know that you can use the chat. The chat is a great place to chat with each other or comment on something that I'm sharing. And I always read the chat, and I'll read it as it pops up as well. Like if you have a question or you say, okay, I have some feedback that I want to give in this area. I always think of these calls as being very collaborative. They're going to go from 5:30 Pacific time to 6:30 Pacific time. And then I do stick around at the end if people have even more you want to share. Last week, we had a attendee, a person, I want to keep her name confidential, that started to share some pretty personal stuff. And so at that point, then we kind of made it a round robin. Is everybody cool with holding the space for this person and really upholding her with non-judgment and positive feedback? And so we all agreed, and that happens after the call was over. So it's really incredible, some of the breakthroughs that even happened on the call. So I'm appreciative of you guys being here, and what I want to do is just take a moment to everybody unmute themselves. You don't have to go on camera if you don't feel comfortable with that, but at least unmute, and I'll just call upon you. I'll say your name, but if you could then repeat your name and the city and state, even country that you might be zooming in from. Sometimes we have people in other parts of the world, Canada, London, Australia, different places. So let's start with, let's go here. I'm going to go on the participants. Okay, so David Johnson, welcome. Hi, David. Where are you calling in from?
Northwest Iowa.
Iowa. Okay, wonderful. Thanks for joining us tonight, David. Oh, I know who this is. Hi, David. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in a couple of years.
Yeah. I wrote
yes.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here. Okay, let's just go right down the line. Johnny.
Hello, it's Johnny from South Africa in Alberton.
Woohoo! All right. I love that. Welcome, Johnny. Thanks for being here. I imagine we met through Kimmy Brook.
You're right.
Absolutely. Okay, awesome. Thank you for being here, Johnny. Stacy.
Yes.
Hi, I'm from Islip, New York, right on Long Island.
All right. Hey, Stacy. Have you had a good week?
Yes, very good. I got a little stuck on Monday with work stuff, so I missed the call, but I'm here tonight.
All right. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right. And then Lenham. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So please get it straight for me.
I know it's confusing because it's actually Lena and
Lena.
an M from my last name because it's Merling and it's kind of complicated.
Lena. Okay. Well, that makes sense.
I'm calling in from California, Lompoc.
Okay, beautiful. I just drove through there last week. We went up to Northern California to Santa Cruz.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us, Lena, and thank you for setting me straight. All right, Linda.
Hi, me and my dogs and my husband. I'm Linda Sunshine West in San Diego, and the dogs are going to start going crazy, so I'm going to mute myself.
We love the dogs. What are their names?
Pup and Mason.
Oh, Pup and Mason?
Yeah, they're our babies.
I love it. Very cute. Thank you for being here, Linda. Nice to see you. Linda and I go way back. Well, like 5 years now, 6 years. I don't even know how long it's been. All right,
Yeah,
so Marsha.
Hello there.
Name and where are you calling in from, Marsha?
Marsha Getchy from Bluffton, South Carolina.
Marsha Getchy is in my book, y'all. Marsha Getchy loves to play baseball. Is it baseball or softball?
It's softball.
softball, women's softball league, and she's in the senior softball league, and she likes to slide into home base, into all the bases, until their insurance told her that they couldn't have her slide anymore because it was too much of a liability.
You got it.
We love your spirit, Miss Marsha. I love it. Thanks for being here tonight, Marsha.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
so I know we're gonna have more people kind of coming in and out, so I'm going to mute it for just a moment. There we go, while we go into this next part. Okay, so thank you so much for all being here. I'm broadcasting here from my phone. I have found that with so many people on Zoom, that it's actually easier for me to not be on Wi-Fi and to be on cellular. So I've been using my phone lately instead of my computer, so that we don't have weird like glitches, you know, where I end up looking like that. And so you're gonna see me doing this all the time, pressing up there. And then you're gonna see me twice because I have my computer open and logged in as well, just in case I end up having something that I wanna share with you that's a screen share. So tonight, I have found incredibly important in my life, and I'm sure you have too. When you are willing, you have an air about you that is open to learning, that is open to doing what it takes, even if it's going to be hard. And you have an open mind when you are in a state of willingness. And I call it a state because it truly can be a state of mind. It's not just a thing like, okay, yeah, I'm willing in the moment, but it could truly be a state of mind. And I invite you to think of it like that. And that's why this big chapter of willingness actually got its own chapter in the book, because I think it's that important. In this book, what I compiled was really all the principles of living healthy and fit. And I do share my story. I have more books to come. This is actually my fourth book. And I am very passionate about the health and wellness realm, mental health, emotional health, physical health, and even spiritual health. I absolutely love the idea that fitness and health is the baseline to everything that we do in life. And so whatever you're going to create in your business, whatever you're going to create in your relationships, it is all better because of the fact that you do take care of your mental and emotional and physical health. And all of us have so many different things that we're juggling in life, right? It's like sometimes it feels like you don't have time to take care of your mental health, your physical health, your emotional health, and make money and take care of the kids and, right? It just goes on. But they are, here's the thing, like none of us are doing this perfectly, and we're not supposed to. Struggle is supposed to be a part of this process. And oh my goodness, it's ongoing, right? It is ongoing. And so I've noticed that at 51, I am much more mature than I used to be, but I still have some areas of immaturity that I'm growing in. And I'm sure you've noticed them within yourself. Yeah, have you noticed a few? But this is the thing, is that we never stop growing if we have that open mindset to do so. And I want to be one of those people. What about one of those people that is, you know, like the lady or the guy at the senior center that is, you know, still has a hobby and is lightening up everybody's day, is laughing at the jokes. I actually personally don't know that many jokes, so maybe I can improve in that department. Maybe I'm not the one telling the jokes, but I'm certainly receiving the jokes and lighthearted. One of my default behaviors is to be on the negative side, and you probably wouldn't think that about me just right off the cuff. But I was really raised in a pretty resentful environment. Like that was my environment at home. My mom had been through a hard divorce, and she's pretty resentful. And she had joy. We had it in those moments, right? We had joy moments. But in overall, it kind of felt like I was raised in cynicism, negativity. And so I knew that that didn't feel good. And have you noticed? It just doesn't feel good when you're in that headspace. And we do kind of do this, right? Even if you are an optimistic person, there's times that you dip into those other parts of you that may be frustrated, grumpy, anxious, negative, or you get negative about certain things. That's okay. It's okay. It's part of you, and you can keep learning and growing and finding ways to be better, finding ways to be a better communicator, to be more open, be a better listener, be a better loved one. You know, all of these things that's cyclical, we're in process. So one of my default modes is to get grumpy, you know, and I don't like that part of myself. I hate it when I get grumpy, and I want to like snap myself out of it. And I know though that I'm very willing to be open to other states of mind. I'm very willing, and I think it's the willingness that is what got me started in the first place, to make those changes so that I didn't have to just be my default of how I was raised. And that default, you know, all of us in our subconscious mind, Linda says, I've never seen you grumpy. Okay, well, that's because I worked really hard on that. We have that default part of us that is in our subconscious patterning. And your subconscious mind doesn't decipher whether that's beneficial for you or not beneficial for you. That's your reasoning mind that does that. That's that part of you, that frontal lobe that does all of your analytics. And it is that part of your mind that makes the judgments. But your subconscious is just patterned the way that it is. As it's come in, and anything that you've been emotional about repeatedly becomes part of the pattern. And so the subconscious mind is just holding this for us so graciously. And sometimes it's holding patterns that we don't actually want anymore, right? But yet it's doing its job. And so we can't hate on it. We want to love on it. We want to have compassion with ourselves and know that our minds, that includes our whole brain and our body, our mind is constantly working different parts of it, right? It's using the reasoning, then it's using the subconscious, the patterns, and then it's using emotion. All these different, the flight or flight, blah, blah, blah. There you go. That fear almonds that's inside the middle of our brain, the amygdala, it's there too. All these different parts of us are constantly firing off. Right? And so when we have an understanding of that and a willingness to recognize when we're in that state, that's when we can change it. And so it's really, really important for you to explore yourself, to know yourself better. And, you know, some of these private parts of you, I'm pretty much a sharer. The other day I was at a family thing, and to my family member, and then a friend of hers said, yeah, I'm not really a sharer. I'm a pretty private person. And then my family member agreed. She goes, yeah, I'm a really private person. And I didn't say anything because I was like, I'm not. I'm not. I pretty much share it all. And I don't know if it's just it kind of goes with the job because I've been in coaching for a long time, and I've been on stages for a long time where I get up there and share my story, share part of who I am. And for me, it's pretty natural. And so it is, you know, it has been an important part of me. And where I can kind of get sticky is in that imposter syndrome. I always want to make sure that I am actually living up to practicing what I preach, as they say, and that I am an example or a role model of what I do represent. And it's a tough order, right? It's a tall order, as they say. It is because I talk personal growth, I talk leadership, I talk habits, you know, and so therefore I do a lot of calling myself out. Do you guys do that? Do you call yourself out? Use the chat, share with me. I think it's a really good thing to do, because we constantly are, even if you are somebody that is more private, your growth is happening. And if you're not involved in your growth on a regular basis, then you're really just missing out. you're missing out on so many opportunities to shift your perspective and to see things another way, to actually take the opportunity to maybe be in somebody's shoes and view from a different outlook. And we constantly have triggers from our past that get us, emotional triggers. And I invite you, I have a really good blog article on my website about emotional triggers and what you can do about it. So I invite you, if that's something for you, go to look at that at some point. And it's titled that, so you'll be able to find it easily. That's not what this topic is about, so we'll move forward. But if that's emotional triggers, if that's a thing for you that has come up, take the time to go read that article. But those emotional triggers are based on what's in our subconscious. And so now, as we might be further along in our life when we're working to grow and we're working to improve ourselves, those triggers will come up from our childhood or from a past relationship that didn't work out, even a past job experience, that type of relationship where you might have had a mean boss or not been treated the way that you should have been treated and stuff pisses you off. That all of those things, they tend to pop up. And so when you know what to do with those things through your personal growth, you really become more emotionally mature, you become more emotionally intelligent, and you're able to psychologically make clearer decisions. And that is absolutely the purpose of taking the time to know yourself and to redesign some things. So willingness is this state of mind that you can step into and ask yourself in any given moment, am I willing? Am I willing to do what this will require of me? Now, my business coach, Nicole McDonald, who owns Sash, is, I'm going to read that in a moment, Stacy, what you just put up there. My mentor and business coach, Nicole McDonald of Sash Bags, she has challenged me to never use the word hard anymore. And she said, don't use the word hard. Be like, oh, it's so hard. And that's what, and because of how we talk to ourselves, right? We'll talk to ourselves of like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. And how am I going to do that? And it just seems so hard, especially in our entrepreneurial journey or whatever, position you're in. You're always selling something. Even if you're not actually a salesperson, you're selling an idea. If you're a teacher, you're selling an idea. You are selling a point of view, whatever it might be, you're always sharing and selling something. And so to invite you to reframe the word hard, she says, it just means there's something required of you. It doesn't mean it's hard and that you can't do it, but it does mean that there's something required of you. And when we're working with willingness and we're like, okay, I am willing to do what it takes to accomplish this thing, whatever that thing may be, and it feels big, to be able to pick out of there, okay, what are the macro goals and what are the micro goals? Micro goals being, what can I do today? What are my priorities today to move this needle forward? And I have a little thing that's called the top 6, so that at any given time, we'll go back and I'll read your chat in just a moment. At any given time, you can, you write down in the morning, top 6, what are those things that you can go back and go, okay, these are the things that, yes, I have like 2 pages of to-do lists right now. But I'm going to go back and I'm going to prioritize and circle the things that are really important that I do first. And so I'm going to break it down into those micro goals. And maybe it's just part of the step that will get me there, right? Those objectives. And with that, though, comes this attitude, an attitude of willingness. And that is what chapter 3 in My Body Fit Life is really all about. This attitude of willingness, of just putting yourself out there in new ways that you really don't know what the outcome is going to be, but you're willing to go experience it. That means you're also willing to fall flat on your face because you know how to get back up. It's just true. You know how to get back up. You've done it over and over and over again. So let's pause right here and let's take a moment so I can read your chat. Actually, let me do it here. So you're going to be seeing me looking down here. I want to see what you guys are talking about here. So can only go back so far. New is fun, Linda says. Yeah, that was when I had my mastermind. I will change it this week. Okay, so I don't know what you're talking about there with the FFT. I've never seen you grumpy. Okay, so let's go forward a little bit more. I can identify with that, Johnny says. A pattern of negativity is lurking in my subconscious. All right, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're a part of this conversation. I'm willing to grow, though. I love that. We can grow together, right? Let's do that. Appreciate you, Johnny, for sharing that. Stacy says, unfortunately, oh wait, I read them, I blended them together, you guys. Okay. Stacy, unfortunately, a pattern of negativity is lurking in my subconscious. I'm willing to grow as her. Yes, exactly. Okay, I'm sorry I blended those. That's kind of funny, right? And Johnny says, I can identify with that. Call myself out is about being truthful, growing. For me, I love the focus on willingness. Great. I'm glad that you're on the same page. Thank you. And I apologize for blending those two. I didn't put words in your mouth, Johnny. Linda says, I sold my husband the idea that I needed a new car. Nice. You know, you did need a new car. So I'm glad you got that. And Johnny said, I use the phrase, this is me growing and becoming more. Thanks for the opportunity. I love that. And Linda, good one, Johnny. I say, I'm enlarging the size of my comfort zone. I've fallen way more times than I haven't. You know, it's true. You know, one of the things that I love as a visual when it comes to our comfort zone is that this idea that you're standing in your comfort zone as a little kid. And you just visualize yourself like, there I was. I knew like my mom and my dad and my friends and my siblings in my house. And you think about the very next steps that you took to enlarge that comfort zone. It started right away. It started by going to school. That took a lot of guts, and we typically don't remember our first day of school, like in kindergarten. In hypnosis, a lot of times people do. They remember the feeling, and then they start to, when we get connected with the feeling, I do age regression with people, and when they get connected to the feeling, they typically then have all kinds of visualizations that start popping up, and they actually recall things. It's really interesting. But when you think of this context of that, you stepped out of your comfort zone at that really, really early age. But let me remind you that it happened even before then. When you started walking, and you probably don't remember that one consciously, it's there. But man, just walking, you know, from your mom to your dad or across the room, or that time when you let go of the couch and went, that's usually what babies look like when they first walk in. They're kind of like, their eyes are all big and they have this, like, as they call shit-eating grin. And they're across the floor, and they're so excited, and they might even squeal or giggle. That right there is expanding your comfort zone, right? It used to be that you just knew this space over here, and then voila, now you have freedom in the whole living room or wherever it might be. So this has happened over and over and over again, and every single time your comfort zone has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And think of some of those things, and I would love for you guys to just take to the chat right now and share what some of those bigger steps that have been, where you really stepped out of your comfort zone, where you didn't just widen it, but you literally leaped out of it and landed in the total unknown. And then all of a sudden, as soon as you get more comfortable there, your comfort zone goes zip, like water, how water finds its way. It just goes zip, and now it's that much bigger. It encompasses everything. So if you guys would just share, I would love to, and if anybody wants to just jump off of mute and share at this point, I'd love to hear from you. Tell us what it was. What's the memory? What's the thing? Linda, will you jump off mute and tell us?
Sure. Yeah, in 2015, I decided to face a fear every single day. And it was amazing because every single day I was stepping out of my comfort zone. And that's why I came up with like enlarging the size of my comfort zone, because every day it was getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
I love that. And she wrote a book, you guys, about this. So go
Year
ahead
of
and
Fears.
Yeah, it's called The Year of Fears. Put it in the chat so if people want to grab the book.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Always a little plug for sure. Let's see. So thank you, Linda. And that was Linda. Okay, so Bonnie says my first dance class. I love that. Do you remember it, Bonnie? You remember the feeling?
I kind of do. I mean, what I'm remembering is just how much I had to push myself to be there, and to people had been dancing all their lives, and I was starting in late teens, and I didn't know what was going on. And you have this thing, and usually there's a structure of dance class, and midway you go across the floor, and you go in usually by yourself or in twos. So it's you really have to get over people watching you. And I felt so nervous. And I'm like, you know what? I don't care what I feel. I'm going to be here, because I knew.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, I love that. Where your faith supersedes your fear. Right?
Yes.
Your faith. This is faith in the vision, right? Faith in the dream. It supersedes your fear. Oh my God, I can so relate to that. Can everybody relate to that? Where your faith supersedes your fear, and you're just you don't want to hold yourself back. You just want to go for it. I love it. David says, in 1979, I took my first trip to Cedar Rapids, and it changed my life. I wrote a script for a TV show based on an old store I saw there. That's awesome. That's cool, David. I love that. I didn't know that about you. Marsha says, Marsha, I see what she's sharing with us. So notice too that how there's so many variables. Marsha says, I want to see where she wrote it. By stepping up and telling someone that I loved so very much to get the hell out of my house. Whoo, right? That's really stepping out of your comfort zone. There's a willingness to experience the uncomfortable that is going to come with that, right, Marsha? Because you know that, yes, you want them out, but at the same time, it's fearful of because you're not clear of what the future would be. So that's a great analogy, and thank you for sharing that with us, Marsha. She says, my feeling was sad, but an OMG moment. Did I just do that? Did I just do that? All right. After it was done, did I just do that? That's good. That's so true, Marsha. That's so true. One of the things that I noticed is that when I started doing hypnosis shows, let's see, let me put back in here. When I started doing hypnosis shows, I'm going to share something with you. Let me see if I can put it on here. Share screen, just a second. I did this radio show live on the air, and it was in Minnesota, and it was a really, really popular radio show. And I was looking it up just the other day, actually, because it went on for 25 years, this radio show. And it was not just regional. It was called Garage Logic, was this radio show. And they asked me to come on, and I had done other radio, and they always want me to hypnotize people on the radio, which is really weird if you think about it, because you kind of want to see what they look like, right? How do you know they're actually hypnotized if you're just watching them? If you're just listening to them on the radio. And so we would come up with funny things that were very audible, that we could put people in hypnosis. And I would go on the air, and I would bring people, listeners would come in to the studio. They would volunteer, and they'd come into the studio, and I'd hypnotize them, and we do all kinds of funny things. It was, and so I was fairly had gotten used to doing. The first time I ever did a radio show, I was scared to death, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm on the radio, that kind of feeling. And then I got a little bit more comfortable, but then Garage Logic asked me to be on. And here was the difference. When Garage Logic, I think I have a picture here that I can show you. When Garage, and in front of a live radio and TV audience in Minnesota. And I had to hypnotize people. I didn't have to. I chose to because I said yes. I hypnotized people that were just walking by on these fairgrounds. And it's the big Minnesota State Fair, which was, let's see, like 1.5 million people go to this fair in 10 days. So it's massive, right? It's just every day there's, I mean, do the math, break it down. There's 100,000 people that are there. And it is packed and crazy, and they have standing room only, and it was huge. And any of my old fans, like I have a lot of people still in my database that are from those days, and they loved those shows. I loved those shows, and we just felt like this amazing synchronicity because it was such a popular show. And I did my show there every night for 8 years, okay? So when I was on Garage Logic, let me see if I can find this picture. Garage Logic was broadcasting straight from the fairgrounds. And so they would have all these big audience that were just like, they would accumulate, you know, because it's a public event. And so people would accumulate and just stand around and watch. And so what they wanted me to do, what they asked me to do, and of course they ask you these things because they really don't even know how hypnosis goes. They're just like, well, you can do that, right? And because I was like, I wanted the opportunity because my faith superseded my fear. And I was scared to death, like literally shaking in my boots. I said yes. And I said, well, yes, we can do that. And I had no idea what I was doing, like live on the air. I knew what I was doing in terms of my show, and I'm very skilled. But as far as being in that kind of environment, I didn't know how it was going to go. And it could have just so fallen flat on our faces for sure. And so I keep looking down because I know I have this picture here somewhere. So you can get a visual if I can find the photo. I should have had it like ready to go. It was in my search. Oh, here it is. Okay. So let's see if I can get this on. Let's see. Bear with me for a second. Kind of fun to do things with Zoom. Okay, so share screen. There it is. Is it on there? Okay, cool. So it is. All right, so check this out. So you can see that there's just all these people gathered around, and we're just outdoors at this event, and there's massive people everywhere. You can see how dense it is. And this is actually a sidewalk. And so it became such a crowd that the flow of traffic couldn't even continue because it was just this crowd. And you can see there, I am in the white pants, and then the DJ is up in the top. He's up sitting above that railing, the DJ that's the host of the show. And then I have people that just came out of the audience right there that I've hypnotized. And there's like 3 or 4 people right there. And it is a moment that you can't tell, but I'm actually terrified because I want it to go well. And so this is the thing. That is so often the reason we get terrified. And I want to share that as just to remember the next time when you're scared, because that's just a step of the process, is that you want it to go well and you're afraid or apprehensive and you're not sure, right, of the next steps, but you have that willingness anyway. The willingness anyway. Because even if that would have not gone well, I would have survived, right? I would have survived the moments. Yes, with social media, you know, people could have kept putting pictures. If I would have failed and fallen on my face, that's okay, but it probably would have made me just as popular, even if I failed. Think about it, right? People share stuff. It's usually, you know, good publicity, even if you've fallen apart. Want this to turn around and serve you as a metaphor in your life. When you're willing and you have that willingness as a mindset, it really can be a part of you that you recognize is present more often. And you just decide both in the planning of your goals and in the moment. And that's where I wanted to share that picture with you, because that was so in the moment of just flying by the seat of my pants. It actually worked out really well. I think we had, like, we turned one girl into Jennifer Lopez. You know, it's as if you're Jennifer Lopez, and another person, I think they thought the person next to them smelled really good, and they're smelling they're sitting there smelling their shoulder and their elbow and silly things like that. And another person thought that they had their phone in their shoe, and so they kept taking their shoe off and answering phone calls, hypnotized. And they really do go into hypnosis. Not everybody goes into hypnosis on the fly like that in a public environment. Some people have too much fear or anxiousness to even allow themselves to focus. And that's what it requires in order to experience hypnosis, is focus. And that's really the main ingredient, and willingness. Focus and willingness is, even when I bring people up on stage in a big, huge stage show, they always need to have that willingness to experience. And, you know, in fact, Linda has been in my stage show before that's here. And we have so much fun. It's crazy fun. And it's always applicable. What we can do on stage with hypnosis, we can also do in therapy and in peak performance training. And it's about being able to make those tweaks to the mind and to be able to seed new behaviors, habits, beliefs, right? Plant those seeds of where you see yourself going on a regular basis. It can also be this fabulous tool to be able to recall moments of your victory. Moments of your victory. And these moments of your victory are your moments of willingness, where you know that every victory you've had, other than maybe like winning a car at a casino or winning a the lottery, that's not really the same as a victory. That's like a lucky synchronistic chance, right? But a victory is something that you've worked for, you've earned, and then you have that victorious moment, and where you are in the middle of it, like, grind your teeth, not sure how it was going to come out, but you kept that willing attitude anyways. And so willingness is always a part of self-hypnosis. It's always part of your mind languaging. When you are your constant, continuous self-talk, when you've got that negativity, are you willing to change it? Are you willing to notice it and not judge yourself for it? Are you willing to, in the moment, go, you know what? That's not who I want to be anymore. A person who talks negatively to themselves. You know what? That's not who I want to be. I don't want to be a person that is controlled by that default negativity. I'm willing to change it right now. And that's when it's so beautiful, is all of this, you guys, this growth, it doesn't have to take us years and years and years to get where we want to go when you have that willingness mindset. So I want to spend our last 15 minutes together. And as I told you in the beginning, I'm happy to stick around to answer any questions when we get to that cutoff at 6:30 Pacific time, which I don't even know what time it is in South Africa. Whatever time it is, I want to spend this last 15 minutes together walking you through a process that will help you to recall all of the times that you've been willing to step in to your vision. And so with this idea, let me just read a couple of the things in the chat before we do this. Let's see. So, okay, so Linda put a link to her book if anybody's interested in that. And Marsha said, yes, I love those shows at the Ohio State Fair. That's where I met you. Is that where we met? Oh my goodness. Now it's Ron Diamond. Yes, Ron Diamond is a friend of mine. So Linda says it's a blast to be vulnerable and open. It is, right? And Linda's been in the show, been hypnotized in the show. And isn't it interesting? You guys notice her work. It's a blast to be vulnerable and open. Now, I would guess that Linda's year of fears helped her to be able to think that vulnerability is a blast. And being open is a blast, right? Because maybe she didn't always think that way. But that shows you that how your growth really, it takes a hold. Marsha says, how about when I lifted your friend, the photographer, and swung him around the house? Yes, I have a picture of that when you picked up my photographer. So let's see. Linda says, a few years ago, I declared to be my own best cheerleader rather than my own worst critic. Yes, my year of fears gave me the blessing to have fun being vulnerable. I think there's probably some of you that really can value hearing that tonight, that being vulnerable can actually be fun, and that it can actually be a blast. What an interesting concept, that vulnerability could be fun and being a blast. So thank you for that, Linda, for that perception for us to be invited to experience. All right, you guys, so let's close with a recall in this practice hypnosis session that we all do together. So all you've got to do is put your hands loosely on your lap, put your feet flat on the floor. You can turn off your camera if you want to, so that you feel like nobody's watching you. I don't think anybody will, it's just me looking at you. But if it helps you to feel more like you have more privacy, that's fine. You're just going to be sitting there anyways. No, I promise nobody's going to fall their chair or think that there's, a person next to you that smells weird in hypnosis. We're not doing any funny antics today. All right, so with your hands just loosely in your lap and your feet flat on the floor, focus your attention on one particular spot across the room, or you can give me your attention. You can focus on me. Use me as a focal point, or pick one of your own. From this point on, I'm going to just call it a focal point. So with your eyes open and on a focal point, keep your eyes transfixed on that focal point. This is very important and helps you to really start to focus and concentrate your mind on one particular thing. So with that focal point, now add in a deep breath. Breathe. Fill your lungs with air completely and hold at the top. And then let that breath go when you're ready. Really drop your shoulders, drop your elbows, drop your hands. Keeping your eyes, though, fixated on that spot, on that focal point. Taking in another deep breath all the way in, deeper than the time before, breathing in deeply all the way in. Once again, pausing at the top for a few seconds, and then when you let this breath out, collapse your body. Just let your whole body be supported by the surface underneath you. Surrender your body to that support. Your chair, your couch, wherever you may be. Surrender to the support. Take in another deep breath all the way in. And what we're doing is we're really grabbing hold of your state. And then we're letting that breath out so that you can let go of any concerns of the day, any tension that has built up of the day. This right now is your time for me to guide you through letting that go. So as you focus your eyes open on that focal point, and you've introduced these beautiful deep breaths, in a moment I'm going to begin counting from 5 all the way down to 1. On 5, it's as if your eyes begin to grow heavy, droopy, drowsy, and relaxed. By the time I get to 3, your eyes become so wonderfully heavy, 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 and relaxed. It's your opportunity to let them go, and you use your imagination to the best of your ability to think of your eyes as if they're heavy, like 20-pound weights on each eye, and oh, so wonderfully heavy. And by the time I get to 1, it'll feel wonderfully good to close those eyes down now. So let's begin with 5. 5. Right now, your eyes begin to grow heavy, droopy, drowsy, and relaxed. 4. Letting go of the day and allowing yourself to begin to float, 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 as if you're like a cloud And clouds just float so easily and effortlessly by, with ease and calm and relaxation. Allow your eyes now to become so heavy as your body becomes lighter and lighter and lighter. In fact, 3, imagine your eyes really step away from your analytical mind and tap into your imagination that's vast. And think about your eyes as if there's a 20-pound weight on each one. And that 20-pound weight is getting your eyes to be heavier and heavier and heavier now. Imagine this to be the truth. Oh, and anything is possible in your imagination. It is the place in which we do create and build our most amazing dreams and aspirations. So imagine right now those little heavy weights on top of your eyes, sinking your eyes down deeper, deeper, deeper. 3, all the way down to 2. Closing those eyes now, being willing to close down your eyes now. And 1, focus only on the inside. Letting go of the external world by closing down your eyes on purpose. And now tapping into beautiful creativity and imagination. And even if you don't think of yourself as a very creative person, we know for sure you have a powerful imagination. Your imagination, as soon as you tap into, all kinds of things come up. Visions, thoughts, feelings, pictures in your mind, recalling memories, all kinds of things come up when you tap into your vast, amazing imagination. And so I ask for you right now to just let that imagination expand as if to emulate the expansion of your comfort zone. Just as we talked about so many different times, your comfort zone has already expanded. This is who you are. You know what to do with this. You have already expanded your comfort zone so many times before. You've always been this way from the very beginning, more than you even recognized. But now, in the minutes, days, weeks, and months to come, you recognize how willing you actually are to expand that comfort zone even further. And as you allow your body right now to go, loose, limp, relax. 5, dropping down even deeper now. 4, letting the teeth just part and let breath come in and through your mouth and nose. Letting your jaw relax wonderfully and deeply. 4, down to 3. Sending, as if you could just send a powerful force of ease and relaxation through your neck that just pushes through any tension and brings calm and ease in its place in your neck and shoulders, down your arms and into your fingertips. From 3 down to 2 now. Oh, peaceful relaxation. Notice what it feels like to exhale big. So take in a big breath and exhale a big breath now. When you exhale big, your body naturally drops all the way down into the surface below you. All the way down from 3 down to 2, and almost there now, even more, even deeper. In a moment, getting to that last number where it'll be so easy to just tap into how good it feels about you, that you have this willingness inside you. So right here, right now, imagine, visualize, and just send with your imagination a wave of relaxation down your spine, through the tip of your spine into your hips, and all the way down your legs to the tips of your toes. Maybe that wave of calm has a color. And notice that color that pops in right here, right now. It might surprise you, that color is flowing in and through your body, sending a wave of calm and ease all the way down to the tips of your toes. Good. And one, drop, surrender your body. Really choose to release. Choose to release. And in my signature process, I call it reveal, release, recode. We always want to make the unconscious conscious so that you can tap into your strengths. We release what is not serving us, and we recode in ways that are beneficial. So I ask you right now, right here, to reveal a time in your life that you were so incredibly willing. So incredibly willing. And perhaps it's a different time than the one you already recalled consciously. But now in this state of mind, where there's a little shift into your unconscious, we have bridged into the subconscious mind, you now recall a time that you were incredibly willing. Incredibly willing. And this willingness served you well. And I invite you to experience what you experience in that willingness. What do you feel? What do you know? See what you see. Feel what you feel. Smell what you smell. Taste what you taste. Experience. Really be in the moment that pops up for you. In this state of willingness. And if you could try it on for size, it's as if you could take that willingness from the past and you could carry it forward like a suit that you put on or something that you bring into yourself, however is perfect for you. But put on that willingness. Really be it. Be that willingness right now. Let it consume you in your favor, to your benefits. Let it consume you, that willingness. And so that it reaches every little nook and cranny, every cell in our body, in our psychology, in your emotions, and in your physicality, moving more, drinking more and more water in the next hours, days, and weeks to come, hydrating more often, taking care of your body in beneficial ways. As you experience this willingness to expand what you do, whether that be in your relationships, in your community, how you show up as a leader, or in your business, how you show up in your career. Willingness. Willingness looks good on you, and it expands your comfort zone even further. You've done it before, and you'll do it again. You know this, it's who you are. You know this, it's who you are. And in the next minutes, hours, and days to come, you'll notice invitations and opportunities to step in with your willingness to something that, man, you had not even thought about prior to this day together. But man, maybe there's something that you had thought of, and it's been in the back of your mind that you have not taken action, and in the next minutes, hours, days to come, you do that with your willingness. And notice, by just putting on this willingness and letting it consume you, there's a certain confidence about you. A certain confidence about you. See yourself in that confidence. Feel yourself in that confidence. Be in that confidence, knowing it's you and it's in you. And once you've got that, just lock it in, lock it into your mind, lock it into your heart, lock it into deep into your intuition in the base of your stomach, as if to lock it into those places. It's your gift. You own it. You use it to your benefit and to benefit others. And so it is. Locked in now. That willingness, and it continues to flow in and through you, inspiring you in new ways, motivating you, and most of all, disciplining you when you're not motivated. Disciplining you when you're not motivated. Disciplining you to take action even when you don't feel like it. That willingness is your state of mind. And so it is. So as you now, 1, slowly, calmly, easily, gently come back to full awareness in the space on 5. 2, take another deep breath all the way in, as if to calibrate psychologically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and even physically and on a cellular level. Calibrate with a deep breath. 3, feeling more balanced and calm. Perhaps a little inspired, like turned on, if you will, on fire. That's good. 3 and 4, remembering that confidence, recalling that confidence, and it's your recode. It's your recode. And in that recode, in the days and weeks and months to come, you get to take action and recode with that willingness inside you. 4 and 5. Wide awake. Back with me now. Eyes open. Eyes open about what you're creating. Excited about what you're creating. Feels good to have that confidence inside yourself and that willing attitude. Welcome back, everybody. Come on back to me and take to the chat. Give any feedback. What it felt like. Are you grateful for that experience? And we can start to close and wrap up our session together tonight. But let's wrap up on a high note with you sharing. And if anybody wants to come off their mute to share, do that now and just jump in with me. Jump in. Linda says, very relaxing. My dogs were barking and woke me up. You know what, a little tip for you, Linda. Go ahead, Linda. I know you got to go. But truly, people can even be hypnotized next to a roller coaster or like you saw in public with people walking by and watching. So it's a matter of your own concentration. And here's the tip. When I hear my dogs bark, I go deeper. That's the shift that you want to make. It's a hypnotic suggestion. When I hear that noise, I go deeper. When I hear that sound, I go deeper. And you just blend it in. Okay? All right, Linda, I know you got to go. Thanks, you guys, for being here. I appreciate you so much. I invite you to come on back on Wednesday nights. Please share it with your friends. If you think this was valuable, go put it on your social media. Tell people about these Wednesday night calls. You can use the link that I gave you when you got here to share it with everybody. I appreciate you taking part, and awesome. Thanks. Just what I needed right now. Great. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Johnny. If anybody wants to stick around for any Q&A, you can do so. Otherwise, good night or good morning, wherever you are. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Deanna Nunez signing out. Design your mind with what you need to succeed. Go to wakeupyourbest.com to learn about more services, to order the book, and to learn how to work with me. Thanks, you guys. Have a great rest of your day. Bye, everybody.